Chapter 3. Libya and the Sahara. The price of passage. In the merciless expanses of the Sahara, every grain of sand seemed to conspire against us, threatening to bury our hopes beneath its weight. The horizon stretched endlessly, a mirage that danced just out of reach, mirroring our elusive dreams of sanctuary. Libya loomed before us, a land fraught with perils that would test the very limits of our human spirit. Our journey across these hostile landscapes was not merely a fight for survival, but a stark confrontation with the cost of our passage to freedom. This is the heart-rending tale of our passage through Libya and the Sahara, a harrowing odyssey that demanded a price we were not prepared to pay. In these pages you will walk beside us, feeling the heat of the desert sun and the cold grip of fear as we navigate a land where humanity is often the first casualty. The day we set foot on the edge of the Sahara, a hushed dread seemed to descend upon our group. The dunes rose around us like great waves frozen in time, the relentless sun reflecting harshly off the shifting sands. Kamau tightened his grip on my hand, our silent vow to face whatever lay ahead together. Our journey through the Sahara was a grueling test of our endurance and resilience. The desert was a world devoid of mercy, its days blisteringly hot and its nights bitterly cold. Dehydration became our constant companion, the scarcity of water a cruel reminder of our predicament. Each day the sun rose like a ruthless dictator, its heat oppressive, reducing us to mere shadows trudging through the endless expanse. Hope, that fragile thing that had sparked our journey, was dwindling with each passing day. The desert seemed to stretch infinitely, its horizon a cruel mirage that kept moving further away. But it was in these dire circumstances that our love, our bond, was truly tested. We supported each other through the relentless march, shared our dwindling water supplies, shielded each other from the sandstorms. We clung on to each other through the frigid nights, our shared warmth a small comfort against the cold that seeped into our bones. And when one of us faltered, the other would lend their strength, pull them back onto their feet, and encourage them to take another step. Every night, as we lay huddled together under the star-studded canopy, I saw the fear in Kamau's eyes, a fear he tried to mask for my sake. And he saw the tears that I tried to hide, the tears that came unbidden as the enormity of our situation sank in. Yet, in these vulnerable moments, our connection deepened. We found solace in each other's presence, our whispered words of comfort a soothing balm to our weary souls. There were times when I felt my strength wane, my hope flicker, my resolve crumble. But then, Kamau would squeeze my hand, look into my eyes, and I would see a spark in his that reignited my own. We became each other's beacon, guiding each other through the endless dunes, through our despair, our fear, our uncertainty. But even as we braved the physical hardships of our journey, the emotional toll was equally, if not more, severe. We had left behind everything we knew and loved, had become specks in the vastness of the Sahara, our existence as fleeting and unstable as the shifting sands beneath our feet. Yet we held on to each other, our love the only constant in our rapidly changing world. The Sahara had pushed us to the brink, tested us in ways we could never have imagined. It had drained our bodies, broken our spirits, and brought us face to face with our deepest fears. Yet, through it all, our love endured. It was the one thing the desert couldn't take away, the one thing that kept us going. Our journey through the Sahara was a testament to our endurance, our hope, and the unbreakable strength of our love. It was a cruel baptism by fire that forged us into hardened survivors, our bond more profound and unshakable than ever. It was an ordeal that would forever be etched into our souls, a brutal reminder of our leap into the unknown. But despite the trials and tribulations, we pressed on, our eyes fixed on the horizon, our hearts beating in sync with a single thought: a better life lay ahead, and we would reach it together. The year was 2021, when we first stepped foot into Libya, At the brink of what felt like an abyss, we held on to each other, oblivious to the horrors that awaited us. We had survived the harshness of the Sahara, only to be plunged into a different kind of nightmare. Libya, a country mired in conflict and lawlessness, proved to be our cruel purgatory, an inescapable limbo that was set to test our resolve further. After weeks in the desert, we were introduced to another set of traffickers, a gang led by a burly bearded man named Fathi. He was as merciless as the desert we had just traversed. His warehouse, a decrepit building in the heart of Tripoli, became our prison, its squalid conditions a far cry from the home we had left behind. Fathi exploited us without a shred of remorse. Kamau was forced into hard labor, his body bearing the scars of unending toil and brutal beatings. I saw him growing weaker, his eyes losing their spark, his spirit bruised but not broken. His only solace was our stolen moments together, brief interludes in our ordeal where we could hold each other, renew our vows of love and share our hopes of escape. For me, the torment was different but equally degrading. Fathi forced me into prostitution, an act that shattered my dignity and left me with wounds deeper than any physical hurt. Night after night, I had to endure the lecherous gaze and cruel touch of strange men, my spirit crushed under the weight of my predicament. Yet in our darkest hours, it was our love for each other that became our beacon of hope. Our stolen moments of solace became our lifeline, our quiet acts of defiance against the dehumanization we were subjected to. Kamau's love and respect for me never wavered, and he became my source of strength, his comforting words and gentle touch a balm to my traumatized soul. Similarly, I saw Kamau find solace in my unwavering faith in him. My love, a fuel that kept his flame of resistance burning. In this cruel limbo, we spent the best part of a year. Every dirham we earned, every favor we could barter, we hoarded with a single-minded focus, earning our passage across the Mediterranean. We clung to this hope, this singular goal, even as our bodies were exploited and our spirits ground down. Finally, in the year 2022, after enduring what felt like a lifetime of torment, we had gathered enough for our passage, but our relief was short-lived. As we prepared to embark on the next leg of our journey, Fathi delivered another blow. Our passage, he informed us coldly, was not together. We were to be put on separate boats. I will never forget that moment. The world seemed to crash around us as we clung to each other, our hearts breaking at the thought of separation. We had faced the worst horrors, endured unspeakable pain, but always together. Now, we were to face the unknown alone, our futures uncertain. But even in our despair, we made a promise. We would find each other again, in a land free from the horrors we had endured. This separation was only temporary. It had to be. We couldn't fathom any other outcome. As the guards pulled us apart, our eyes locked, conveying what our hearts couldn't bear to voice. A goodbye that was not a goodbye, a promise of reunion. And so, with heavy hearts and tear-streaked faces, we stepped onto separate paths, our journey taking a cruel, unexpected turn.
This is chapter 3 of a 6-part short story. The easiest way to watch or listen to the other 5 parts of this story is to either subscribe to the Romance Diaries on YouTube or click on the link in the description below. If you subscribe to the Romance Diaries, you can also enjoy other stories of love, romance, heartache, cheating and betrayal, and by clicking on the notification bell at the same time, we can let you know every time we bring out a new video. And if you would like to experience your own real-life romance, why not click on one of our sponsors, which you will also find in the description.